So you've got a formal setting. People are perhaps dressed up, maybe they're holding a drink, perhaps even seated in an auditorium. And you've been asked to run a few games or energizers or icebreakers for the group. It sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? So what do? If this sounds like something that you're up against, stick around because I'm going to share with you 4 of my favorite activities that work in formal settings. Before we get into it, do any of these scenarios sound familiar to you? You've got a large conference or an auditorium, tiered seating hundreds of people, a whole bunch of people who perhaps don't even know each other. Of course, no one sits right next to somebody else they don't know, and they're just waiting. Or perhaps it's a cocktail party. People are wandering around, got a drink in their hand, perhaps eating some canapes. Again, most of the people in the room they don't know. Or maybe you've just got a group of people who don't know each other very well. They're standing, sitting, won't really matter, but it feels a bit cold. Do any of these scenarios sound familiar to you? Because if so, stick around all the way to the end because I've got some wonderful pearls of wisdom I'm going to be sharing with you about some of my favorite activities that work perfectly in these formal types of settings. Now, if you can see yourself standing in front of one or more of those groups, relax. I've got you covered because I'm going to share with you 4 of my favorite activities that have always worked in those more formal settings. They're engaging, they're fun, they're really simple, and for the most part don't involve any equipment whatsoever. Psst. Oh, and by the way, listen out for little drops of wisdom all the way through, because I want to show you how you can take any one or more of these activities and really leverage the value from it so it can connect directly to the purpose of why your group is gathering in the first place. Okay, let's dive in. The first activity is story of your name. Now there's another video here that you can check out that'll give you more details about the actual story of my name. But the exercise here that works brilliantly in a formal setting, whether they're seated, standing, or something in their hand, no matter what, is that people are fascinated about why people are named the way they are. So my full name is Mark Allen Collard. Now, check out the other videos so you can learn more about the full name and why I'm named Mark Allen Collard. But here's a brief glimpse, is that my last name is actually a mistake. Because 3 generations ago, on an official government form, my great-grandfather, James Callard, C-A-L-L-A-R-D, had our last name, Callard, incorrectly transposed as Collard. An A looked like an O. And from that point in time, that has been why there are so few of us in the telephone book. So your basic invitation is, after perhaps you've provided an example of the story of your name, is you invite one or more people to gather and share the story of their name. Enormous amounts of energy will be built up in this experience. And look, people will have some understanding of the story of their name and others will have a full understanding. It won't matter. In fact, I even give them permission to be creative, make it up if they need to. But there will be enormous amounts of energy and you can never, ever have too much energy, no matter what type of setting you have, especially if it's a formal setting. So check that out. Again, if you go to playmio.com, you can get all the free step-by-step instructions for this activity and the others I'm about to share with you as well. Oh, before we move on, can I ask you a favor? If you like that activity, if you could imagine standing before your group and presenting that and seeing how valuable it could be, go ahead and like the activity. I'll give you a couple of seconds to go do it now so you're not missing any more content, but just go ahead and hit the like button. Number 2, Mr. and Mrs. Right. Again, check out the video here and you'll see this activity being presented directly to camera. In fact, if you wanted to, you could even just show that video directly to your group. But you could also download the story of Mr. and Mrs. Right. And the basics here are whether they're seated, they're standing, got something in their hand, is they're going to respond to the story that you share over the course of 60 or 90 seconds. Every time they hear the word right, they step to the right. Or if they're seated, they just simply lean to the right. And every time they hear the word left, they step to the left or they lean to the left. It's that simple. It's a long story. When I say long, it goes over a period of 90 seconds perhaps. You can create it yourself, but you can also go to playmio.com and actually download the story yourself as well. Enormously fun, very, very engaging, simple, no props, and again, suits all of those formal settings that we've just described. Number 3 is another classic, and again, we have a video that you can check out at Playmio if you wanted to find out more about what this looks like, but here's the basics. And in fact, I did this just the other day with 104 people standing around the buffet morning tea area. They had broken for morning tea after the morning keynote. I was going to be the next session, and I started outside the auditorium while people are standing there with their tea and bickies, enjoying their little morning tea. And I just invited them to have one hand free, use their single pointer finger, and to point towards a clock face on the screen. So it's called paradigm shift, and you'll understand where this comes from. Is that I asked them to first of all point toward the 12, and then they point to the 3, then they point to the 6, then they point to the 9, and they go round as they're looking at it in a clockwise direction. And they've only been doing this for a few seconds, but then I asked them to keep turning in the 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 6, 3, 9 direction until it goes below their chin. And then I asked them to have a look at what's happening to their finger. There's always a few people say, oh, it's going the other way. And I normally quip and say, oh, you must be doing it wrong. So let's do it again. 12, 3, 6, 10. We go in the clockwise direction. We bring it back down. And then I ask them again, what do you notice? And sure enough, it's going the other direction. Now, if for no other purpose, all we've done is break people's concentration. We've created a little bit of a brain break. We've created a little bit of engagement, and it's a little bit of fun. But here's the most powerful part. One of those pearls of wisdom is that there is no gathering that I can ever think of where it could not benefit from greater connection to something. In this case, it's the connection to the paradigm shift, a different perspective. The reason it starts in clockwise and ends up in anti-clockwise direction is because your perspective changed. And if you then connect that to the theme of the conference, I guarantee you will find extra bonus points for your contribution at that point. And if you can't think of a way this activity could link to some part of your program, in the comments below, ask the question. Ask me to explain the situation. Say, hey, Mark, here's the situation. WWMD, what would Mark do? And I guarantee you, it's one of my superhero strengths is to be able to take this activity and connect it to anything else in a program. So check that out. Okay, let's wrap up with activity number 4. It's called Gotcha, and it sits right up there in terms of some of the most powerful activities I've used in a formal setting, whether the people are wandering around at a cocktail party or they're seated in a tiered seating environment like at a conference or something. It starts with inviting everyone to hold one hand, just nice and flat, imagining they're holding a tray, and then with their other finger, a pointer finger, to place that finger into the palm of another person. Now, if they're sitting in rows, it could be the people left and right of them. If they're standing up, they could actually form a circle, but it need at least one other person, and you place your finger into the palm of the other person. And then, at this point, most people understand what's about to happen, but where the shrieks of joy occur is when you say the word go, because at that point, your object is to catch the finger of the person with their finger in your palm, at the same time avoid being caught by the other person. So it's go, and off it goes. Without fail, one of those no-fail activities always gets shrieks of joy and lots of laughter. And of course, at that point, they're ready for another round. Everyone now knows and understands what's about to happen. Now, if you check out playmio.com, you'll be able to, again, download the free step-by-step instructions for this and learn dozens of other ways in which this basic premise of a finger inside a palm can be varied and adapted. At a minimum, just turn it around. So now it's on your right hand and you're using your left finger into the palm of another person. So check that out and have some fun with it. So my question for you is, what resonated the most for you among those 4 activities? Could you do us a favor and in the comments below, let me know which one of those 4 activities did you enjoy the most and why? Or maybe you've got this really formal board meeting or conference or some sort of seminar coming up and you've been invited to energize and break the ice and not quite sure what to do, describe it in the comments below and we'll WWMD it. What would Mark do in that situation? Give us a basic information about that situation and I will respond and provide you with a few options of what you can do, because I've never come across an experience where it was not possible to do something to be able to generate energy, invite people to laugh, and certainly to interact with others, no matter how formal the situation was. So you've made it this far. Thank you so much for getting this far and carving out a few minutes to be able to watch this video. I've got a special bonus for you now. As you will note that there is an ebook that you can download that you're seeing some details on the screen for right now at playmio.com/free-ebook. It'll cost you nothing, just an email address, and you'll be able to immediately download this 32-page ebook, which has 10 of my favorite icebreaker games and activities featured in it. One or two of which we've already described in this video, so you're going to get extras as a result of that. So check that out if you are interested in adding to your repertoire. And if you really like this content, would you go ahead and subscribe to our channel? We're on our way to 70,000 people who are subscribed to this channel, and we would love to have you do that as well. And if you are interested, also hit the bell notification, because that will let YouTube send you a notification when we drop some new content, which on average is about once a week. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And for now, have fun out there.